You want to talk sports. You want to talk basketball, football, baseball, wrestling, UFC, boxing. You want to talk sports. You want to talk music. You want to talk hip-hop. Real hip-hop. Classic hip-hop. The history and the culture of hip-hop. And you want to talk candidly. You want to hear the real. You want us to keep it 100. You are in the right place. Welcome to the Candid Quote. Starring your man Coach Bar and your man Mr. Willis. Bringing it to you real, bringing it to you right. Sit back, strap in, comment, get busy, baby. It's the Candid Quote.
What's happening, y'all? What is happening? Coach Fa is in the building.
Hello, world. It's Mr. Lewis. What's good?
What's good, y'all? I know y'all missed us. Y'all missed us. I know. We had a great show last week, man. I hope y'all was in the building for that. B Love was in the building telling stories. It was great.
Shout out, B Love. Indeed, one of hip hop's pioneers. If it weren't for that man and his group, you wouldn't get the term Strong Island, which was made popular by Public Enemy. But go back and watch the episode. That man has a lot of knowledge and history for y'all, you know? Yeah.
Do what Lou said. It's important. Yo, speaking of important, ladies and gentlemen, yo, the truck came. Bang, bang. That's right. We're in uniform. You gotta love it. Bang. We growing up and expanding, y'all, right before everyone's eyes. Is crazy. It's stupid.
Yes, the brand is growing.
Yo, but the brand is in the building. Yes, we Twin Powers activate in the building. Yo, I'm excited about this week's show. I know, hey, everybody, you're gonna more than likely catch this on the replay because I know y'all watching the NBA Finals and all that. Yo, if y'all tuning in with us, I appreciate it. It's going to be a great show. We got a wonderful guest in the house today, man. Yo, Jon Macri. Matter of fact, keep it real. I don't know if he even knows this, but he's literally the reason why I actually started my show. Yeah, I mean, respect due. So I'm really excited to have him chop his brain up about, you see the logo in the back. You know what it is. He knows the Knicks stuff. He knows the stuff. Now, I may not always agree with some of the stuff, but he keeps it realer than no other, so I'm really looking forward to having him on. You know what I mean? So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to hit you with a commercial break and come back with some headline heat.
Tonight at 9. It is the Miami Heat versus the Los Angeles Lakers for the NBA championship. Watch it now.
Yo, you know we have fun on this show, and it's coming. But right now we got some headline heat. I know Big Lou was watching the fights this past weekend, so I'm gonna throw the mic to you.
Yo, word up. Big shout outs to the Charlo twins, Jamel and Jamal. Jamel defeating Jason Rosario in the 8th round with the TKO. And then Jamal defeating Sergey Derevchenko by unanimous decision. You know, this is real big for middleweight boxing and boxing altogether. And congratulations to the young twins for their first pay-per-view. Successful. They both had victories. I think we're going to have a lot more big things to come from these young gentlemen. And I'm going to be there to watch.
Nice. That's sick. I love that. Yo, you know what? Keep it a buck. I missed the fight. I knew I was supposed to watch the Joker. I was very upset that I missed the fight, but I did miss the fight. I forgot why. I forgot why. It might have. You know what? I might have been doing husbandly duties or something like that day.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
are men
that.
of a certain age.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. We grown men's and grown men's handles the grown men's
Exactly.
businesses. It's important. Yo, so as I said, we have tonight, the Lakers and LeBron versus, Jimmy Butler and the Heat.
That is hilarious.
I want to say Lakers in 6, but it's not because, it to me, honestly, I'm gonna just lay it out like this. It's the bought and paid for versus the grassroots for the most part. You know what I mean? LeBron, yo, yeah, 4-10. Yep, right on. Most inorganic way I ever seen in my life, but that's just me. Ladies and gentlemen, I know that's just I'm gonna let y'all have it. I'm gonna parlay today. I'm gonna speak my words later, but 4-10. Good luck. If he wins the fourth, great. If it's not, it's 3-10. But it's an amazing accomplishment to make it to the NBA Finals.
Well, from my perspective, I'm a Sixers fan, so I don't really care about either team.
I feel you.
But either way, I'll be happy for the fellas either way it goes. You know what I mean? Like for the same reasons you say. One team, it was manufactured basically to be the anti warrior, I guess. Golden State speaking, and the other one is grassroots, and Jimmy Butler, even though I wanted him to do one more season with the Sixers, he went down there to the Heat.
They chose Tobias Harris. That's on them, not him.
Yeah, I know, but yeah. I mean, and no shade, because that boy is nice. Tobias is nice, but
Jimmy would have made the. Y'all might still be like in this thing if he's there, but you got to get Embiid motivated.
Yeah. So yeah, as I was saying,
Yeah.
I'll be happy for the fellas either way it goes.
No, I feel you. Good luck. Hey, I'm in a quandary, really, because it's really hard for me with that logo in the back to root for anything Heat. I mean, I got Pat Riley issues, and I'll have Pat Riley issues till the day that I die. Because I don't use fax machines, and I never will. You know what I mean? Because of that dude. I gotta breathe. Speaking of breathing, there's one cat. Before we get to our esteemed guest after the next commercial break, I gotta vent, man. I gotta breathe. There's some clown ass H-level actor by the name of Michael Ratz that just can't seem to keep the Knicks out his mouth. I mean, this dirty rat just decides to just open his. You know what it is? He knows he needs anything Knicks so that his Twitter doesn't die of heat exhaustion because there's nothing going on there. He's getting dehydrated and it's dying. His whole Twitter life is a shambles, especially because he can't, play with Ice Cube and him in the Big Three right now because of COVID. So he literally has jack to do. It's not like he's getting acting jobs. So he has nothing to do but to sit there and tweet with his little tight-looking Nets gear on, like all ashy, he's wearing black jeans, when the charcoal run out on the black jeans, when what I mean, when you wore them maybe 17 times past when you're supposed to wear them. Yeah. So listen, Michael Rappaport, this is just quick. You know what I mean? Yeah. I will hit you so hard that words describing their impact will appear out of thin air. Pap, zoom, ping. Understand, raps. I catch you with this slander on Twitter. Coach Foz is gonna be up in that. So just calm down. Go root for the Nets. Go across the way and just vanish. Bye. No one thinks that you talk Knicks anyway. You don't talk Knicks. I gotta breathe. So just remember,
Zows.
Zowie, bro. Zowie. Oh yeah, I got another one for Michael Rappaport. This one's for somebody else too, but somebody needs to.
Mm.
Word up. All right, y'all. I've had my fun. I've had my fill. We're gonna come back with a very, very special guest, Jon Macri, in the building.
All right.
Right after this.
With all of the hijinks of last night's debate, we at CNN have decided to hire Samuel L. Jackson to be the debate moderator. We feel that Samuel L. Jackson has the carte blanche and the credentials in which to tell each of the debate candidates to shut the F up when it's a due time. Only he can withstand the nonsense. Samuel L. Jackson, moderator. Next debate.
And we are back, y'all. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We have a very, very, very candidly cornered special guest, our brother, Jon Macri of the Knicks Film School. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up. Woo!
Welcome, sir.
He came to the show. He came to the show. What's happening, brother? We're having some technical issues with your mic there, my brother. You're muted.
There we go.
There we go. All right.
Right.
You know, it's funny. I just started learning how to use the mic button on my own podcast over the last few. I think it's the last few, probably just month or two, and now I'm gotten mute happy, and now I just mute myself all the time. I was saying that I don't deserve any of the kind words that you said about me. I appreciate it though, and I'm like the fact that I played a role in inspiring you to do this show is awesome, man. That makes me.
Yeah, man.
I can't even tell you. Seriously,
You remember those conversations about a year and change ago?
I do, and I knew, you had what it took to pull it off because I just, our interactions and your opinions are always spot on, and like you said, we may not always agree, but it's a difference between having just some BS that you throw out there and having stuff that you could back up and you could justify, and you always back up what you say. So I respect that.
See, I'm humbled, and a person who usually talks a whole lot, I have nothing to say. That was just right on, my brother. All right, Jay. So let's jump into some of the talk about, and then the floor is yours, man.
The floor is mine. Oh my goodness.
Hey, we keep it free range here.
Yeah, no. So I don't know. What do you want to talk about? You tell me.
So I tell you what, you were hot on some prospects. The Knicks have the 8th and the 13th pick this year.
No, they have the Knicks have the 8th and the 27th, and then the
27th.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right, so I don't like to say it's a deep draft because that just means that no one really knows how to define what this draft is. But I do believe that there are some more than quality players that we'll be able to find later as the draft goes. Firstly, what are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on the Knicks being able to pull off a solid player that can help with this new regime?
I think between the 3 picks that they have, I think the odds are pretty good that they're going to get someone that can help them next year, and hopefully help them more importantly in the long term. Because I think that's the difference between finding someone who could help them right away and finding someone who could be around a while. Those two things may seem mutually exclusive. I'll say,
At times.
because at times, but I think this year, I feel like we say this every year as Knicks fans, but even though it shouldn't be about wins this year. It's a new regime. It's a new head coach, and I do think that there will be something to setting a certain tone, right away. Does that mean that if they, like Killian Hayes is a guy that for a very long time I don't think a lot of Knicks fans thought there was any chance would be there at 8, and now I think you look at how the draft might be shaking out, and all of a sudden
Right.
that might not be so crazy. Is he a guy who's going to come in and help you next year on the court? No, maybe not. But is he the type of guy that they want to get, in their building, so to speak, to try to
Right.
start to change some of the stuff about what they do, and more, again, more importantly, be someone that maybe could blossom long term. If you're asking me who's the guy that realistically I would like to see them end up with at 8, he would probably be the guy.
I had a feeling. Now, I, like you, feel as though this is a deal right now. We're not supposed to see the fruits for about another 3 seasons with this regime. And based on not just the head coach, but all of the assistant and then the developmental coaches underneath them, and then the developmental scouts even that they've hired. This is literally unprecedented for us in the last 20 years. So I feel like given this regime its due is more important than ever. But I feel like we're not necessarily supposed to look at next year like it's supposed to be anything more than maybe let's just not be in the lottery.
Yeah,
What are your thoughts on that?
Look, I mean, I think I did a mailbag episode in which I answered questions from Twitter users over the weekend, and somebody asked me my personal prediction for a starting 5 for the Knicks for this next season, and I predicted that Chris Paul would be their starting point guard. Which maybe who the hell knows if that's going to happen? I don't know.
Wow.
And look, that's just a little bit based on what I've heard, but also just kind of reading the lay of the land and thinking, okay, Oklahoma City's going to trade him. Who's actually going to give up what it might take to get him? The reason I bring that up is because even if they trade for Chris Paul, for argument's sake, I still think that there's a chance that they finish in the lottery. And I think there's a very real chance that they don't trade for Chris Paul. And if they don't trade for Chris Paul, I do not think that there's any chance in the world that they'll be in contention for a playoff spot next year. But that's okay. Like, I think when you're an organization that's on the right track in the NBA, I think it's pretty obvious. It's obvious when teams are on the right track, and it's obvious when teams are not on the right track.
Are not.
Like it's one of those things. Like when you see it. Like, I hate Knicks fans hate when people would do this, but people used to point to the Nets under Kenny and Atkinson initially, right?
Right.
As like,
and very positive speaking. They were very positive.
Good. They were a bad team, but they were not a good team because they.
But they were scrapped. They were fighters.
They fought. They get blown out occasionally, of course, but there was clearly something there. And
building it, they were a core is building. I agree.
And even a couple of years before that, and this might sound crazy, but like the original process Sixers teams, like Brett Brown's first teams in Philly, like those teams were a pain in. I don't know if I could curse anyway. Those teams were a pain in the.
Mr. Lewis is a Sixer, so
okay. Those teams were a pain in the ass to deal with. And look, did they lose by 30 points on some nights? Absolutely, they did. But you got the sense that, like, all right, they had a game plan. Now, we could talk about how they've gone awry that's a whole nother podcast. And, like, whatever's happened in Brooklyn, Kenny's out, that's a whole thing. But, like, in the initial stages of those situations, you got a sense that things were on the right track. And I think that's the thing that we've never seen here. And I'm not even talking about just under David Fizdale. I'm going back talking about under Jeff Hornacek. Like they were
No.
16
The
as a
last
team.
20. Last 20. I mean, the last time we felt really positive was Woodson, in my humble opinion.
Well, but then they were actually good. I'm talking about if you look at like when did we actually feel good when they weren't a good team yet? Like even initially under D'Antoni, you got a sense like
With young Nate and young David, you felt like something could be growing here. Yeah, you did. I remember
like
that.
it was a style of play that you're like, all right, if you get some better pieces in here, he's doing this with these
Right.
pieces, maybe with some better pieces. And hey, look, when D'Antoni got some pieces initially, it actually was
It
wasn't
did. It
bad.
did look pretty darn good.
Yeah. Anyway, we're getting off track, but I guess
Oh no, this is what this is.
the long and the short of it is we have to. I don't care if I've said this. I don't care if they win 25 games, 28 games, 32 games, whatever amount of games you want to say they're going to win.
It's more than
But
last year, so
there has to be a sense that like
there's
there's
growth
something
and
sustainable.
progress.
Yes, there's growth, there's sustainable, there's progress, all that stuff. And again, you know it when you see it.
Exactly. Now that I got you here, yeah.
Sure.
Oh, and there's gonna be Charles B and them. They gonna hate this part, but I'm here to tell you, Frank Ntilikina is the real deal. He is a real player. He is built for the NBA. He is not what you expect or what. You know what? New Yorkers have a sycophantic relationship with what Stephon Marbury appeared to be.
Oh
And
man, I loved Steph too.
you know what? Keep it a buck. I don't really like ball hogs, so I never really wanted him on my squad. I didn't want Carmelo at first. He
Yeah.
changed his game to me. You know what I mean? And changed how he did things. And by the time Melo left, dude, I got Melo toys back here. You know what I'm saying? Melo changed for me, in my eyes, what I saw. Steph never really did that for me. But I know, dude, I'm from Queens. I know New York point guards. I know what people want in a New York point guard. Frank is not that. Dennis is more that. But when Dennis his game is on, but lately it hasn't been on. But I have a feeling it'll be back. But they like that flash move, boom, boom, dunk, hey, da. Frank is just quietly going to kill your team to death and quietly lock down your team's best player and quietly help a good, solid team win many games.
That's the thing, though. He's going to help a good, solid team win games. If you put him on a bad team, he's not going to be able to elevate that bad team by himself because he's not that caliber of player. And he's always going to be compared to the guys.
Flash.
Well, he's going to be compared to Donovan Mitchell, obviously. And I'm watching Bam Adebayo and the Heat. They're up right now, 23-10 on the Lakers, and Bam was taken in that draft too. Not that the Knicks were realistically ever going to take Bam, but I mean the point remains. That's not Frank. Frank's never going to be that type of caliber of player.
No, but for me, I felt like, especially when they drafted him and we had Porzingis, and initially in that frame, I was extremely comfortable with him taking his time to develop because we had somebody that could take that weight, or so I thought. But now that there's the young pups, I get it. But I still feel like, number one, I feel like RJ is 2 seasons away, and I think this is going to be Kevin Knox's season to kind of break out. I really do. I think they really put maybe too much of a support base around him with these coaches from Kentucky, but they're also the ones that know how to motivate him and know how to get the best out of him. And these guys are still young. They're still fresh out of college. So it's like, it's hard. It's easier to go to your college advisor than it is to go to the grown man that works in your building. You know what I mean? So I just feel.
No, they didn't do any sorry, they didn't do anything to support these kids the last 2 years.
No, heck no. It's been again. That's why I'm kind of refreshing my opinion on it with what I see now with the new developmental people and the folk that actually understand how to build a team and how to build these young guys into something. So I just feel like now, I mean, and plus, with as much as Kevin has been eviscerated over this summer, he got a huge chip on the shoulder and that came just from logging on to Twitter.
No, I think the chip is real.
Oh
yeah. I actually don't know if Kevin Knox is a chip guy. I think RJ might be a chip guy. Although I also think RJ is a very smart guy. Not that Kevin isn't smart, but I think RJ understands why. I think he understands the reason. If I had to guess, I obviously don't know this.
No, I'm with you.
If I had to guess, I would say he understands the reasons why he didn't make one of the all rookie teams. I think he understands the reasons.
I don't. He's gonna have to explain that to me because that excuse they gave for minutes was nonsense to me. I mean, he could have at least fifth. He was at least fifth in darn near every important category. How do you have like almost the least amount of votes out of everybody? I really don't get that. I really feel like they slighted him just because, and I'm kind of tired of us being the punchline. He didn't deserve that, and this franchise doesn't deserve that, in my humble opinion.
Well, but that's the
rub. I know of not winning.
Put it into words because they have not been able to get out of their own way in so long that it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy in terms of how other people look at it, and it makes it that much more difficult to get out of your own way when everybody is saying you're the Knicks, you can't get out of your own way. All that being said, like, look, the situation was terrible for RJ Barrett last year. I don't think the voters probably took into enough consideration how much tougher it was for him to put up the numbers that he did.
Right.
Because if you take
the dysfunction going on around.
Well, it's not only the dysfunction; it's just like X's and O's on the court. I mean, it's not easy. He had less spacing to work with than any team in the league. And there were other issues. And look, and I feel bad saying this because we just were singing his praises. Frank Ntilikina. Frank Ntilikina was like a starting point guard last year for a sustained stretch. Where RJ Barrett, he's not at the point where he should be a starting point guard on an NBA team that doesn't have a whole lot of talent around it, because he just doesn't have that kind of command of an offense. He obviously the jump shot
because he does not produce enough offense to keep a team that doesn't produce offense going. Agreed.
Yeah, so you put RG in an impossible situation, and I don't think the voters probably factored in enough the situation that he was in, and that being a reason why his efficiency was so low. But at the end of the day, his efficiency was really low. So I mean, look, Bam, you want to talk about?
But so is the teams. You know what I mean? It's like, I mean, again, for me, my eye test was.
So I'm saying Bam Adebayo didn't make his all rookie team, and I don't think that there are 5 guys in the NBA that Pat Riley.
But
would trade
at the time, though,
right now.
Bam ain't a rookie right now, though, so I don't really he came in with Frank, you said, so I don't really remember the top 15 guys of that draft class. But I do hear what you're saying. Okay, so let me have it. Give me the top 5.
That year, that was the Markelle Fultz year. So it was Fultz, Ball, Tatum.
He ain't better than Bam.
Josh Jackson and
Josh Jackson ain't better than Bam.
Fox. Oh no! I mean, look, if you had to do that draft over again, it would probably, I would assume.
But because I do remember though, those guys coming out of college had much bigger names and much bigger stuff coming out, and Bam was quietly under the radar.
Yeah.
Again, if we had picked Frank in the second round in that draft, I think people would not even care. They'd be happy of whatever it is that he does. But because we picked him 9th. You know what I mean? They're waiting for him to
Yeah,
become something.
it's always going to be that, and it's, is that fair? Is it unfair? I mean, who knows? But I think
Unfair.
if he's put in a situation last season, or sorry, if he's put in a situation next season, where he still needs to make progress on his own game and needs to be able to hit a jump shot. But I think
But at the
we
same
could see
time,
some
I
opinions
think
start to change.
he's benefiting from these same developmental folk that the younger guys are benefiting from, because he's never really been
For sure.
properly coached up either. I
Yeah,
hate
no,
to say it
I
like that,
agree.
but we have not done a good job in because you know what? Even from the time we went from Woodson, we had vets on the team. When we went
Yeah.
to Hornacek and all them, so we still had a vet laden team, so we weren't into development. Then all of a sudden we got young, almost out of nowhere. We got very, very young, very, very
Well,
quick.
it's been it's been
About
all over
4 years
the
now.
place.
Yeah,
He like if you look at Frank's journey, just to highlight him for a second,
it's
he
been
came
tough.
into a team that was more there was a lot of vets on the team, but it was not
They
like
were
no one took
all
them
fighting
under
for
no one took
jobs
him under their
themselves,
wing. Yeah, it was
right?
Jared
They was
Jack,
all
and then
worried
they
about
brought
that.
in and then they brought in Moutier. Like that wasn't
Yeah,
development staff, and then they bring in Fizdale,
and Moutier
and you had
wasn't
the
for him,
17.
right? No.
No, it's not. It's just it was. It's he has had as tougher journey as any
As
player
anybody,
in that draft
really,
class thus far. So
really.
yeah,
I think that's partially why I pull for him so much. You know what I mean? And to know him is, and to look at him and to see, understand his work ethic and everything. It's like, this is a player you really want to, wrap your arms around. But at the same time, he got to hit that basket when we need him to hit that basket.
gotta
You
hit an
right
open
about
shot. If you can't hit an open shot, you can't play in the NBA today.
fair.
It's as simple as that. And I would just say one more thing on that is like Knick fans who are in love with Devin Vassell, which I'm one of them. I love Devin Vassell, and I think he would. There's a good chance he's the pick at 8, and I wouldn't mind that at all. Like Devin Vassell is Frank minus with less playmaking, and obviously at this point it appears to be a more reliable jump shot. But very, very similar types of players in terms of their impact on a game, how they impact a defense without necessarily ever being even on the ball,
Right.
and in terms of just making plays for others on offense.
That dude's instincts are nuts, though.
Oh,
And I
sure.
love
But Frank
defense.
has
I
the
love
same
defense.
instincts, and we've seen those instincts from Frank, and it's tough when your specialty is off ball defense. If you're playing if you're playing on a defense where so many guys, and this has been the case at times, just completely abandon their responsibilities.
Right. Oh
And
gosh, man. Yeah, defense today
yeah.
in an average game is just awful. It's like no one cares about it. Everybody's just
An
trying to
average
get to
NBA
their
game,
shot.
Yeah, it's like you try being a part of a functional defense when you're out there with Julius Randle, who's only thinking about what's the next shot he could get, and
Exactly.
I mean, maybe that's a
It's
little harsh,
tough.
but
No. I mean, honesty sometimes is. That's why you're here in the Candid Corner. You can say what you feel right here.
and look, and I still have and I have hopes for Randle this year under Tibbs if he sticks around. I have hopes for all these guys under Tibbs, whoever sticks around. It's just now we got to see it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So, who do you think is going in the top 5 in the draft? And believe me, I'm gonna have you back here for a draft special. I'll probably have Alex B over here too. So we'll try to mix it up a little bit. Yeah, man.
Top 5, I think it'll be in some order. Actually, no. If I had to predict the order right now, I would say it'll be Edwards 1, Ball 2, Wiseman 3, Danny Avdija 4, and Obi Toppin 5. And I think that there is a good chance that the Warriors want to end up with Denny Avdija, and we'll try. Again, I have no inside info on this, but just kind of reading the lay of the land, I would not be surprised if the Warriors tried to swing a trade down to 4 so they could grab Denny at 4, and try to pick up something from the Bulls. But if I'm the Bulls, I don't know if I would maybe just call the Warriors bluff and dare them to take LaMelo Ball. And I personally don't think the Warriors want LaMelo Ball.
I hear that.
And yeah.
So what about the two Tyreses? Maxey and Halliburton.
So if we keep going down the draft, I think the draft really starts at 6. I mean,
There we
look,
go.
is it possible that Cleveland could pass on Toppin and do something else? Yeah, sure, maybe. It would surprise me personally. So who knows what the Hawks do? Do the Hawks go? I just can't imagine the Hawks drafting a player who projects as a ball dominant player. So I don't see the Hawks taking Hayes.
Gotcha.
Could the Hawks take Halliburton? I guess maybe. Personally, to me, it makes more sense for the Hawks to take maybe Halliburton, but I could see them surprising people taking Vassell. I think Okoro probably makes the most sense for them.
Okay.
And then you get down to 7.
He's starting to climb. Okoro's starting to climb a little bit.
I mean, Okoro is one of these guys. I could see Okoro going as high as 5. I could see Okoro going as low as like 10 or 11. So let's assume Okoro goes 6. The Pistons, there was a report today from Adam Zagoria of Forbes. He said that the Pistons apparently like Halliburton very much. So, if the Pistons take Tyrese Halliburton, that means the Knicks would be sitting there at 8, potentially with a choice between Killian Hayes and Devin Vassell, and that would be
very interesting.
That would be
very polarizing on Twitter.
I think most Knicks fans would want them to take Hayes.
I think so
I would
too.
want them. And look, I just had his assistant coach on. I love Devin Vassell, but I would if I was the Knicks, I would take Hayes, and then Maxey's interesting. I think Maxey's going to be a good pro, but
a little bit of development time.
Yeah, it's so tricky with the Kentucky guys. It really is, because it's like we've now seen this happen with Booker, with Bam, with Harrow. I'm sure I'm forgetting someone very obvious, but like guys over the last few years who go to Kentucky and they don't, not that they don't show stuff at Kentucky, but Jamal
Kevin
Murray.
Knox. Oh, yeah.
Well, he's the one exception, sadly.
So far. I think we'll see. We'll see. I'm hopeful. Anyway, as Harrow just makes a beautiful move to the basket right now. But personally for me, what I've watched of Kentucky, I see a guy who, like Vassell, is going to do stuff that maybe doesn't show up on the box score to help your team. But if you're asking me between those two, I would rather take the guy who has the jumper that seems safer to me at that point. And yet, everybody seems to say buy the shot with Maxey. People who are much smarter than me at this stuff, they say buy the shot. So if you buy the shot with Maxey, with the other stuff that he offers, and who knows? But there are like 6, 7, 8 guys in this draft who, if you told me they went 9th or 10th, I'd be like, all right, fine. Cole Anthony, Kyra Lewis. I was about to ask about Cole Anthony.
Tyrese Maxey, Patrick Williams, Precious Achua, Poku, right? My boy Spencer's favorite. Like any of these dudes, if you told me they went Sadiq Bey is another guy people seem to like.
See, I can't get a strong enough read on Sadiq Bey. I've been trying to get some feelers out on the kid.
Yeah, I mean, I have not sat and watched any Villanova games yet. I'm sure I will at some point. But yeah, it's unpredictable. Like all of these guys, some of these guys that I just mentioned are going to fall into the late teens, right? And then it becomes interesting because then as you begin to think about the 27th pick that the Knicks have,
right?
Is there going to be an opportunity for them to trade up? Do they want to give whatever it takes to make that move? Do they think it's worth it? Or do they think, hey, let's sit tight at 27 and 38, and because that's the other
And
part
see
about
who
this
trickles
draft.
to us. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the interesting thing about this draft, and I've said it a few times. Walt Perrin said back in April, before the Knicks hired him, that he thought that there was this draft between 15 and 40 was like eye of the beholder. It's like there's a bunch of guys
Right. Right. It
that
all depends on who's drafting them and
it
what
all
they're looking
depends on
for.
who you want and who you like. Exactly. So, and the Knicks have 38. So 38, last I checked, was in the top 40. And I could see why he said that, because there are guys that are still going to be there at 38 who I think teams are going to be able to talk themselves into being guys that could potentially be helpful players immediately and for a long time.
Right on.
Guys like Xavier Tillman or Malachi Flynn is another one that I mentioned. I think I mentioned both of those guys in my newsletter today. So I don't, and look, it's a crapshoot. Are they really going to feel that strongly about anybody if they start to fall to like the late teens, maybe the early 20s to make a move? I don't know. Maybe if they don't go point guard at 8 and like Cole or Kyra really start slipping, I know they've looked. I know for a fact they've looked at both of those guys more in depth over the last couple months. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what they do. Who knows?
Do you see the kind of knowledge this man has on the top of his mental Rolodex, Will? He's just rolling stuff off, like no notes, no notepad, no device. Just hold on, let me real quick. So Devin Cephalus.
I just think about this shit way too much. That's all. It's
nah, man. I'm telling you again. Now you see why I was so impressed with this cat from like when just chatting it up back in.
Don't be
Dude.
crazy.
Nah, just keeping it above.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But do me a favor. Tell the audience where they can find more of this material of yours. You were talking about your mailbag. Hit it up, man.
Sure. So where can you find me? You could find me. You could find my newsletter. You can go on Twitter. I'm at JC Macri NBA. And in my Twitter bio, there's a link to my daily or weekday, I should say, newsletter. It's a Substack newsletter. It's easy to find. You can just Google Knicks Film School newsletter and sign up for free. And then I also host the Knicks Film School podcast, which I usually have 2 or 3 episodes dropping a week. Like I said, I just had an FSU assistant coach on. I'm going to try to get some more people on over the next month or so to talk a little bit more specifically about some of these draft prospects that people like. Right. And yeah, I just appreciate you having me on, and it's always good to talk.
You see it scrolling, people. Right?
Yeah, I do. I appreciate that. Thank you. That's
no doubt.
Cool. I love the production. See, this is what I don't have. I don't have production quality. I shouldn't say that. My producer is awesome for the podcast. I'm talking about video content. I need video production quality, but I'll get there.
I did this when I was in the Army, so I cheat.
It's good stuff, man. No, but this was fun, and thanks to all the listeners for checking out. And yeah, man, I'll hit you up on the Twitter soon, I'm sure. All right.
Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, Jay Macri, Knicks Film School, Knicks Podcast, Big Blaster, Master Blaster in the building. We'll talk to y'all later. And now to our next commercial.
Introducing the new group, 3 Men with Mustaches. If you want to get your party on Italian style, you better come in here with a smile. Joe Pesci and the Mustaches.
Hell, look like we about to be ready to join that group too. You know?
Yeah, man. Yo, all right, y'all. So thank you all for hanging out with us. We're about to get into.
It's time to talk hip-hop, classic hip-hop, modern day hip-hop, the state of the culture. This is what it is. It's hip-hop time.
Yo, back in the building. Shemaine and Coach Fa.
And your boy, Mr. Lewis.
Yeah, man. Yo, I tell you, Jay's great, man. He's got all that knowledge, bro. He's ready for this draft, man. He's ready.
Yeah, I think I learned more about the Knicks than I've learned in years just now.
Yo, so you know what? I'll have a talk about the 76ers next time he comes on.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, he was on point with the whole like rebuilding scenario where, you know, they just getting blasted day in and day out, but you know they're working towards a goal, so you know you're not too discouraged.
Yeah. Trust me, rebuilding is tough.
Oh yes.
You know, and I know we're supposed to talk about hip hop, but I just got her with that image, man. I'm telling you, I might even run it next week too. I don't know, but all right. So I was thinking about how I wanted to address this because I was talking to some folk on Facebook the other day, and somebody had said something that I didn't quite understand their approach when they were trying to talk smack, I guess, about this legendary group, and I was just kind of like, I don't really understand it. So, and then, all right, so person said, is this particular group top 5 golden era? And I said yes. And he was like, heck no. And I was like, yeah, of course they are. And so he decided to name like 10, 15 more groups that he felt were better than that group. And I had to let him know, good sir, not even more than half of the people on your list aren't even golden era. They're not even golden era. You're mixing timelines, and you can't do that, especially if your premise is this group top 5 golden era. You can't put Mobb Deep in there. Mobb Deep's not golden era, bro. They're not. Wu-Tang is not golden era, bro. I'm sorry. Goody Mob and Outkast is not golden era. I'm sorry. So what I'm gonna do for the next couple of minutes, I'm gonna break it down. I'm gonna break down the first era for you right now. First era, cassette tape era. Now, going from Bigla's timeline of hip hop's birth being 1973, the cassette tape era ran approximately from 73 to 83. Where at the time you can start actually seeing in hip hop more vinyl being sold, more records being spun, and rap albums are starting to come out. Run DMC, Boogie Down Productions, you know, soon to be UTFO actually. UTFO, Houdini, you know what I mean? So now you're coming out of the cassette tape era. And so from 83 to 93, you have what we affectionately call the golden era. Because that's where you got Big Daddy Kane. That's where you get Rakim. That's where you get Biz Markie. That's where you get De La Soul. That's where you get Slick Rick. That's where you get Public Enemy. That's the Salt and Pepper. That's the golden era. MC Lyte, Queen Latifah. That's where that comes from. So then you have from 93 to 03. And that's street gangster era. For the most part. Jiggy toward the end. But gangster, pretty street gangster pretty much from 93 on.
Yeah.
Your Tupacs, your Biggies, your Wu-Tang, your Mobb Deep, your Spice One, your West Side Connection. You feel me? Your Suge Knight, all that. Your Dre, all that. Then you got from 03 to 13. And I had a name for the era, and I forgot what that era was. But that's more of what do you call that era, Lou?
Crunk, auto-tune.
Okay.
The lean.
Era. The trap era. There you go. Yeah. Trap era. Yep. So from 03 to 13, we got the trap era. And then from 13 to present, we're looking at what I call the download era.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there's a bunch of different genres all mixed up, but pretty much there's no more CDs, there's no more albums, there's no more tapes. It's by this time it's all digital, it's all electronic. So, given those 5 spaces in time, hip hop is roughly getting on 50 years old, so that's fair. So when you're discussing eras, it's actually important to when you're discussing hip hop, it's important to keep your eras in line.
Yeah, exactly.
Because go ahead. I'm sorry, Lou. Hit it.
Well, from my perspective, a lot of people, we know music is subjective, and you like who you like, but and everybody has an opinion, but oftentimes, if your opinion cannot be backed up with evidence because you failed to do the research and the knowledge to know what you're talking about, then you're going to lose that argument every time against somebody who knows what they're talking about. Simple and plain.
Because this is not an imaginary lifestyle. This is hip hop.
Exactly.
These things happen. This is hip hop history. You know what I mean? And it's so important to know and respect the history so you know what it is that you claim to love. And I will say this. Ageism has nothing to do with hip hop and appreciation for hip hop. Though young people have made it every era has those young people grow up and continue on. So we didn't stop loving hip hop after the 10 years we finished making it.
Exactly.
We didn't start loving hip hop when it was our turn. So you gotta love and appreciate it all. And if you don't know something, it's okay. We're here to teach you. It's like, all right.
When I was a young boy, it's like, the old heads, how much they would get on us. Like, you don't know about this group, don't know about that, don't know about this, you don't know about that. And instead of arguing with these cats, I'll be
went back and listened.
I better go do my homework. Yeah,
Cause see, back then we didn't like not knowing.
Exactly. But also we came from that knowledge era, that each one teach one era. These cats come from that facts don't matter type era.
But whose fault is that? Now I'm getting on my old man because I feel like that's kind of my generation's fault.
Yeah, a lot of us failed to teach the game, failed to teach the history.
We respected it so much, but we didn't pass down the way in which to teach it to the next. So we struggle with it.
And to keep it 100, the many people I met from the different regions that claim they loved hip hop, if you really got into in-depth conversations with them, they really didn't know much of what they were talking about. So
they loved artists.
Fronting.
They loved artists.
Exactly. And there's nothing wrong with that.
No, you can have your favorite artist.
You hip hop head number one, and you don't know what you're talking about.
Right. If you're limited to your collection, then you just know you're the best. If you know the most about your collection.
Facts.
Not the collective. Ooh, namaste. Yo. Yeah, man. All right. So that was great. We'll be right back. Got one more commercial, and we're going to come back with two brothers chopping it up.
All right.
50% of American families don't get enough of their hardcore hip-hop. That's why I'm glad my family likes the taste of Wu-Tang. It's for the children.
Wu-Tang is for the children, bro.
Yeah, and it's Wu Wednesday.
It is Wu Wednesday, indeed. You know what it is. All right, y'all. So, welcome back. It's two brothers chopping it up. So, Big Lou, what's the skinny, my dude?
Not much going on. We're still trying to maintain, stay safe, out the way, avoid this pandemic drama. Sitting back and watching a lot of movies, a lot of good movies lately. And just downloading new music. Been watching movies on Hulu. There's a couple of them. Well, for
what you been
watching? Man was better than the critics acclaimed it to be. I liked it. I was entertained. Shout out
which
to
one?
F and Ang Lee, Gemini Man.
Oh yeah, no. Me and the wife peeped that the other day. That actually wasn't bad. That was kind of alright. It was kind of alright.
Yeah.
Good job, Will.
Yeah, indeed. And Yeah, you know, me and the missus, we're really into horror flicks, so we were catching quite a few of them. Had one called Pardon My French, but Just Fucking With You. It's on Hulu. It's a Hulu original. It's
Wow.
made by the Blumhouse Productions. Them dudes right now, they're like horror movie masters.
Oh no, Blumhouse. Yeah. No. They kind of like the Grindhouse joints, man. Them
Yeah,
dudes
man.
is them dudes is wild.
So if you really like, if you in the spirit of Halloween and you're really into that mood, check that movie out. There's a couple more too. The Haunted and another one called Marrowbone. It's like a thriller, suspense thriller, but it's really good. It got a crazy twist at the end that had me like, you know, at first I was kind of like, this is boring. As soon as I thought that, the movie had me like, oh, for the whole rest of the movie, like, oh, you know what I mean? So it was a pleasant surprise. I loved it. So yeah, there's a lot of horror movies on Hulu right now. Also, the new Fargo with Chris Rock in the season.
Oh, I want to check that actually.
Yeah,
I want to check
saw
that.
the first episode so far. It's pretty good, and you know, not to get on my critique about the industry and things I see as far as flaws, but I will say this. I'm glad they kept it historically accurate for the times, because a lot of times they try to show period pieces and they make it seem like it was more diverse and more racially harmonious than it actually
Right.
and it kind of irks me, because it's giving these people nowadays who really don't have an idea or know
No,
much.
it's a soft blow for them. Like,
Thank you.
No, it's not that bad. Yeah, it was. Yes, it
It's
was.
actually worse.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
All right, so now the Fargo joint, like I said, I was definitely looking at checking out myself. So thanks for the tip. I don't do horror, nor does the wife. We good on that. She upstairs watching AEW wrestling right now. That's what we do. I'm actually upset that, you know, she's like, why did you schedule the show at 9:00? You know the wrestling comes on.
Word.
Yo, but it is what it is, right? Yo, wrapped up a little early today, but I think it was a slamming good time. I had a ball. How about you, brother?
You know, I'm always having a great time over here, bro.
Yes, sir.
Now,
ladies,
comments say I'll be looking dead, but trust me, I'll just be deep in concentration, y'all. I'll be here. I'm here, y'all.
we go. You know what you gotta zoom that camera on your face a bit more. You got still a gang to put it on right here so people could just see he's up, he good.
I want to see the smug up close, huh?
Get all that smoldering, dark, passionate heat. Wow. Yes, sir. All right, so next week we're gonna have D-Wise of the Bums come
right.
chop it up and talk about hip hop back in Oakland, and we're definitely looking forward to that. We hope you guys continue to hang out with us, continue to support the show. I hope you like the new outfit. You know what I mean? I'm gonna give it to y'all one more time because it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah.
Hit us up. We'll see what we can do.
Yeah, hit us up on our Twitter. Hit us up. Let us know if you like it. If you want one, we'll figure it out. We'll try to get it to you. All right. But in the meantime, in between time, I just want to again thank Jon Macri for showing up. Yeah, you know, he gave me the headshot. I had to show the headshot at least one time. You know what I mean? Yo, big shout outs to this year's election. You know what I mean? Oh, and again, Michael Rappaport. Remember what I said.
Oh, and one more thing. Speaking to keep it on with the Woo Wednesday, I shared this flyer a couple years ago, and it reminded me of it because I saw an actual business that had this out in front of their store today. It says,
Really?
presidents may come and go, but Wu-Tang is forever.
It's for the children. All right, y'all. We'll see y'all next week. Stay up, stay strong, and enjoy your week.
Be safe, stay blessed, show love wherever you go, y'all. See you next week. Follow me on Twitter, The Black Lebowski.
Fahim Insurance. We out.
You want to talk sports. You want to talk basketball, football, baseball, wrestling, UFC, boxing. You want to talk sports. You want to talk music. You want to talk hip-hop. Real hip-hop. Classic hip-hop. the history and the culture of hip-hop. And you want to talk candidly, you want to hear the real, you want us to keep it 100. You are in the right place. Welcome to the Candid Quote, starring your man Coach Bar and your man Mr. Willis. Bringing it to you real, bringing it to you right. Sit back, strap in, comment, get busy, baby. The Candid Quote.